working on the problems is it's obvious when you think about it, because you're always experiencing whatever you're focused on. You're always experiencing whatever you're thinking about. And so the very idea of saying, I'm going to work on this problem in my relationship begins to put a focus right onto that thing. And well, what's also a realization is that that problem is not actually there. A problem can only be perceived. It can only be, of every problem is constructed of thought. So the problem in my relationship, the problem with my partner, exists in my mind, and it is made up of thought, just like everything else I'm experiencing. So what a trap it is, and this is why we kind of looked at this as one of these essentials, like what a trap it is to have innocently constructed or created an issue, something wrong, and then to begin to engage to fix the thing, to begin to get into conversation with someone around this thing that's an issue. Well, now we're just making it, the more we've taken it, it's kind of interesting because it in a way, if you want to give anything more reality, thought, first of all, is a formless energy. Sid Banks talked about how this formless energy expresses or comes into form first via thought. So that's the beginning of creation. You get this formless energy, and it comes into form via thought, and it forms all things. So a thought is what we're dealing with. Now, when it's a thought and in the form of a thought, it's really not that big a deal, because it just kind of sits in my head, and it's just like, you wouldn't know necessarily that there's anything, you wouldn't know there's a problem. But what happens is, in my mind, it's now real. And now we go further I begin to express. So now I start talking about it. The minute you start talking about this, there's more reality to it. In the moment of talking about it, it's becoming more physical, more real, more manifested. And because we can literally perceive it with senses. And by the time you're behaving about that as though it were true, there's now a lot of physical going on around, which is why it really seems to us, but this really is a problem. And what a truthful statement to say, this isn't just in my head, Well, yeah, you made sure of that. You made sure it wasn't just in your head. It's now expressed physically. It is now literally a thing. And it's interesting because the trap of this thought and the nature of thought is it only lives and exists in your experience by your attention to it, by your focus upon it. A thought, a personal thought, has no life of its own. It's not wandering around in your mind. You invite it. So a personal thought is a thought that has your attention. You give it attention, and your attention, your consciousness, is the only thing that's bringing it to life. And as it comes to life, then you feed it with your attention. And now you get talking about this with someone else, this problem and you get talking about it with someone else, it has more life and more life and more life. And we've all heard the idea of a train of thought. This energy has a momentum and it will keep building and building and moving in that direction. And the more it is fed with attention, the bigger and bigger it becomes, and the more of your mind it fills. Sid talked about levels of consciousness. And that problem came out of a level of consciousness that I happen to be on. That's the only way it can show up. Well, there's plenty more thoughts like that one on this level of consciousness. So if you think you like that one, wait till you see what else is coming, because there are plenty more, all of them in that same feeling, in that same level of consciousness. And of course, the joke is that here I am in this level of consciousness. I think I'm going to fix my problem. Good luck. Your whole feeder system and what's coming to you in your thinking is all on the same level of consciousness that has given you this problem, created this problem. And it's why Einstein said we will never solve a problem at the same level that we created, from the same way of thinking that we created it.